It's a hell of a thing to remind each other that we're old right before the show and get depressed right away.
I'm not depressed. You're the one that's old.
Yeah, you're older than me.
That doesn't mean anything. Let's
That's
compare
true.
physique. How's your spine doing?
Actually, I look like a nice specimen. Just don't ask me to move. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranty Monkey. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
Jack, how are you tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm all right. How you doing?
Oh, I'm a little bit tired, a little bit sore, and a lot annoyed. So, good overall.
Oh, well, keep it up then.
You know how I enjoy being annoyed by stupidity.
I've seen your Twitter feed, yes.
For instance, so you pointed out to me that I got limited visibility on a tweet.
So dumb. That was so fucking dumb.
All right, so the tweet happened because that weird chick who used to hang out with Tim Pool posted how did she say it? Help me settle an
Rhonda?
argument.
Oh.
I don't remember her name. I'd have to look it up, and I don't care that much about her.
No, that's a song. Help me, Rhonda. Help
Oh,
me.
gotcha. No. Help me settle an argument. Was Hitler right wing or left wing? And Elon Musk answered, oh, I can actually put that part on the screen. Yeah, there we go. He answered, extremely far right regarding nationalism, obviously, but very far left regarding socialism. And I responded, the only way Hitler was right wing is if you go by modern nonsense, which labels all authoritarian and or nationalism as right wing. Jack, would you consider Mao right wing?
No, he was left wing.
Was he nationalist?
Yes.
Stalin right wing?
No.
Nationalist?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point here is that, they label everything nationalism as right wing, which is nonsense. It's very much a left wing thing as well. Nationalism is not left or right. It depends on which person's in charge, whether they are left or right.
Yes.
Hitler was a national socialist.
What? No.
Now, somebody pointed out to me, I was racking my brain trying to figure out why this would have gotten hit for, of all things, violent speech.
You said the German man's name.
It's not just the German man's name. It's the German man name and the next two words. The only way Hitler was right is because somebody else pointed that out to me, and I was like, oh, fuck, yeah. I guess, yeah, you're probably right on that one.
You should have put the hyphen in there.
Yeah, I probably should have, but I get lazy with hyphens.
What you should have done is edit the tweet and just type Hitler was right in capital letters and then leave the rest the same.
Yeah. That'll help me out in the long run.
Yeah, that won't bite you in the ass at all. Come on, how could it?
But there it is. Now I've said on the internet right there, Hitler was right if you only pay attention to those three words.
Well, context is irrelevant, we've been told.
Yeah, true. But I'm arguing with a moron who's like, because he was obviously right wing. And I said, how? And he said, because he was a Nazi. National Socialist Workers Party, yeah.
Yeah. They were right wing compared to the communists of the time.
Sure.
So, but that's like saying, Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't as bad as Gacy because he had a lower body count.
See, I wouldn't even say they were right wing compared to the commies. I would say they were more right wing compared to the commies.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, but I know.
You get what I'm saying, though. Like,
right?
You're comparing things that are very, very similar. It's stupid.
It would be like taking a Democrat today and say Bernie Sanders is left wing, but Cori Bush she's right wing because she's not as far left wing as Bernie is.
True.
It's an asinine argument, but this is what has gone on in the world of propaganda: is that Nazi means left wing or means right wing. Your neo-Nazis these days I would tend to say, yeah, because they don't tend to grab onto the socialist aspect of it. But if you're talking about Hitler, no, he was a lefty. He was a murderous dictator lefty.
Well, and one of the things people tend to forget is that when we talk left wing and right wing, that means something different in Europe. Their right wingers are still pretty progressive by our standards.
They really are, yeah.
So that makes a bit of a difference.
But even then, I mean, he's still left wing. He was an avowed socialist. Anyway, but that's the kind of ignorance I run into. Now, the one that really inspired the show is in the headline and on the thumbnail, and as I'm watching chat beforehand, I got kind of sad because I realized this was 22 years ago now, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, 1.5 or 20, just over 21, because it was Christmas Eve of 2002.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but
it doesn't.
We're old.
So what we're talking about here is Mr. Scott Peterson, and I say Mr. with dripping sarcasm because this man is. Ufio, thank you. Ha! I now have a clip to use against you. Mr. Hitler was right.
Scott, well, if he remembers when he sobers up, he can use it.
I have no doubt that he'll find that. Keldrick, thank you. Not only was Hitler a lefty, he was a stereotypical lefty. The man was a vegan, socialist, anti-Semite. Yeah, there you go. He'd probably fit in with the modern Democratic Party, honestly. And yeah, Alan, thank you so much. Who says good morning? Good morning, sir.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Scott Peterson case taken up by Los Angeles Innocence Project. Now, we are going to read a decent amount of this, Jack. Well, I don't know about decent amount, but before we do, let's set the scene for those of the don't know who Scott Peterson is. Scott Peterson came to be famous on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, 2002. When his wife goes missing. She's 8 months pregnant with their soon-to-be-born child. That didn't turn out right. Connor. They even had a name picked out and everything, Jack.
Yeah.
And so Scott Peterson that morning, he wakes up. He watches himself a little bit of Martha Stewart. That is kind of important. And heads out for a fishing trip on Christmas Eve. On a 3-hour round trip drive, Jack, an hour and a half each way to go fishing for about 45 minutes for sturgeon in the San Francisco Bay on a cold winter's morning. He gets home, and the first thing he does is throw all of his clothes into the wash and take a shower. Not checking on his 8-month pregnant wife, not checking on his dog who didn't bark or greet him at the door, who's later found in the backyard with a leash attached to the collar.
You know, like you do, just let him walk himself.
My favorite part of his alibi is that he was going to go golfing, Jack.
Uh-huh.
But it was too cold to golf.
Yeah, so he went fishing, where it's warmer.
In the San Francisco Bay, of all places.
Yeah.
That place is freezing.
Yeah. But he couldn't golf on the water, and it was just, the winds weren't right for golf, but they were perfect for sturgeon fishing.
Sturgeon fishing in a 14-foot boat. Sturgeon tend to be around 6 feet long.
Yeah, they're rather big fishies.
They're big fish. This is his first time in this boat. He decided. His story is just so stupid. His first time ever being in this boat, which he had just bought. He had just bought this boat not long ago.
What was it called? The Murder Express? Is that what he called it?
I think he named it Dead Lacey.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He called it the Natalie Wood.
Natalie, yes.
Too soon?
Way too soon. Yeah, we got to stop making death jokes here.
Oh,
no, we don't.
Yeah, I was going to say. Thank you, Alan, for the generous donations this morning, my friend. Good morning. Hope you're doing well, man. Good morning.
Sturgeon are big fish that you don't just casually go fish for. Hey, he just suddenly, we skipped a part because he also takes a blue tarp wraps up their umbrella from their patio set, and has to take it to his work on his way to do this.
Like you do.
So he's leaving the house with this, 5-6 foot tarped up umbrella. Totally not his wife in that, by the way. Totally not.
What is this, a cartoon?
It's eventually found out that he was having an affair, the third of his marriage, Jack, and they hadn't been married that long.
Yeah.
He told his girlfriend on January 9th that this was going to be his first holiday since his wife what was the word he used? Because he didn't say disappeared. Was gone or something like that. He gave the impression that his wife, it was his first year that he was going to have Christmas with a dead wife.
Yeah, he even picked up a chick after all this.
Yes, he did.
He's a piece of garbage.
His
wife was pretty too.
Oh, Lacey was cute as shit.
Yeah.
She has a lot of similar features to my wife. Maybe that's why this case pisses me off so much, because if anybody hurt my wife that way, I'd kill him myself. I'm just saying.
So what you're saying is you're not taking your wife to the retrial.
Tell the chat the darker part. Which darker part? Don't worry, we're not done yet. We're just going over all of it. Did the umbrella have a weird bump in the middle?
Yes.
That's yeah. Look, nobody knows, and nobody can explain why this man decided to do this on Christmas Eve.
He's evil.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about the people who actually believe this shithead's innocent. I'm just gonna say this right. Scott Peterson, much like OJ, killed his wife. Okay, he did. But let's see what the Innocence Project has to say, Jack, because sometimes these guys get stuff right. Now, typically when the Innocence Project gets stuff right, it's because, like, hey, we can now test DNA, and that sperm in that woman wasn't from him. In which case, they're like, oh, yeah, this was a fucked up case. Not exactly what they're going for here, Jack. A couple of years ago, a Hulu, the murder of Lacey Peterson, I think is the name of it.
Stewie Griffin had nothing to do with this.
Stewie's fine. Don't worry about her. But it puts all of this doubt on the evidence that they had. This is circumstantial. They don't have a murder weapon or anything like that. They have a dead woman who washed up in the San Francisco Bay, where this guy just happened to be.
Yeah, convenient.
And the cadaver dogs actually led them right to the bay.
Yeah, did they find the tarp shortly after that?
The tarp was actually at the house, covered in gasoline.
Well, how else are you going to clean a tarp of blood? I mean, nothing.
The tarp was in a shed that was so fumigated with gasoline smells, the dogs couldn't get near it for 2 days.
That was just his cleaning technique. See,
do you know have you heard how the gas got on there? This is amazing. So he takes the tarp on Christmas Eve, he brings it back and he puts it in there, right? And for some reason, he takes a weed whacker he had not used in months and sits it on there, and it just happened to spill all over it.
Oopsie poopsie.
Because apparently he stores it without the gas cap on.
Like you do.
I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's what happened with the tarp. Let's read their thing and then we'll get into some of this stuff. Scott Peterson was convicted of killing his wife and unborn child in 2004. The Los Angeles Innocence Project has taken up the notorious case of convicted wife killer Scott Peterson in new court filings. The group is seeking new evidence from the original trial. I love that part. They're seeking new evidence from the original trial. So the evidence from the trial. It's not new. This is evidence that existed at the trial. It was presented at trial, or at least known about to the defense attorneys at trial. It's not new. It's just the appellate lawyers, because Garagos, Mark Garagos, very famous attorney. He was Scott Peterson's lawyer because Peterson's parents are loaded.
Yeah, he is a rich boy. And they're like, get us the guy that got OJ off the hook.
Yeah, and it didn't work out here because you killed a white lady, man, and you're a white dude. Nobody cared about you.
He killed a pretty white lady.
Pretty white lady with child.
Yeah.
You killed Mary on Christmas Eve, dude.
Right?
The fuck is... I know she was Middle Eastern, not white, but in American depictions, Mary is always a honky chick. I'm just saying.
In a statement I never thought I'd say, thank you, Scott Peterson. Hey, what do you want? During an argument, she said she wished she had an abortion instead of staying with me. Well, wish granted.
Yeah.
Oops.
Whoopsie.
Thank you, Scott. Air quotes. I don't think that's your real name.
Lacey, hey, there's other Scott Petersons out there.
Yeah, there was that dude that killed his third wife and his first
No,
one.
there are Scott Petersons out there who haven't killed wives yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if I hear that name, I've already seen 2 Scott Petersons on TV that have killed wives.
Yeah, ladies, don't marry a Scott Peterson. You're gonna regret it.
Yeah, you might end up being all murderized because, as far as I can tell, they're batting 100 right now.
1,000, dude.
No, 100%. Because
there you go.
I only know of 2 Scott Petersons.
Yeah, but the term batting what you just said is 1 out of 10.
Analogies, you expect that?
I know. I was helping you.
I don't know how this works.
Yeah, he's batting 1,000, 100%. There you go.
Yeah, so he got a wicked googly. Okay, there's a cricket one. How's that?
Lacey Peterson, who was 27 years old and 8 months pregnant, disappeared on Christmas Eve in 2002. Her body was found in the San Francisco Bay in April the next year. Scott Peterson, 51, he's now 51, he wasn't at the time, was charged with first-degree murder in the deaths of his wife and second-degree murder in the death of their unborn son. He was convicted in 2004 and sentenced to death in 2005. He was later sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, we should talk about that because his sentence was reduced. The reason his sentence was reduced is that the judge in the appeal said that the jury had not been properly vetted for how people felt about the death penalty. Excuse me. Holy crap. Henry VIII, thank you. Just one wife? Get good, Scott. Yeah, so I haven't read all the evidence on why, but if the judge is like, yeah, they didn't properly, I can see why they would lower that.
Nah, it's stupid.
What?
I think they really lowered it because California is full of pussies.
What the judge didn't say is that there was anything exonerating. Like, no, you were still found guilty, you fuckwad. Now you just get to live in a cell for the rest of your life. Anyway, attorneys with the LA Innocence Project claim that Scott Peterson's state and federal constitutional rights were violated, including a claim of actual innocence that is supported by newly discovered evidence, according to the court documents. None of the evidence is new. I just want to reiterate that. This is not a case of them finding a murder weapon or DNA. It's not. It's the same old shit.
Did one of the people at the Innocence Project fall in love with this guy or something?
I don't know. There's been a push to exonerate this asshole for a while.
Yeah. Largely
pushed by his sister. And it's a really big thing for true crime. True crime, the Peterson case is a moneymaker. In fact, Jack, the reason that I'm as well versed on this as I am is it wasn't that long ago. I was just researching it again after I saw Matt Orchard's video on it. I tend to watch things in blocks. I've watched Matt for years now, but every few months I'll catch up with what he's done. And maybe June or July of last year, I went through a phase of catching up on Matt's stuff. And Christmas of 2022, what did that be? 20 years after the fact, he did a video on this, including debunking a lot of what the Innocent Project is going to say here.
Yeah, it sounds right.
And I did throw that out on YouTube or on Twitter. I should do it here too. Somebody remind me, and I'll find Matt Orchard's video for that later. New evidence now supports Mr. Peterson's long-standing... No, stop it with the new evidence shit. Long-standing claim of innocence and raises many questions into who abducted and killed Lacey and Connor. Nobody abducted him. He killed him. That's what happened. His attorneys are seeking dozens of items they say could not locate after reviewing the trial files from his prior counsel after a thorough search. The items include evidence from the investigations into the December 2002 burglary of a home across the street from the Petersons in Modesto County. In Modesto in Stanislaus County, whatever. We're going to go through because they have a few things here that they say they need, right? So let's start with this burglary in the home, right? This burglary took place on the 26th, 2 days after Lacey died. Yeah. The suggestion is that these burglars were caught by Lacey and that they had to kill her 2 days after she disappeared, Jack. How do we know it was 2 days after they disappeared? Because they've caught the burglars. And the burglars, they describe, because the defense says, hey, with all of the media circus that was going on, there's no possible way that these guys could have broke into this house right across the street. Except they did it at night, and there was only one reporter on the scene. Everybody else had gone home for the day. And we know this because the two guys who broke into the house described where the reporter was, and the reporter's like, yeah, that's where I was that night.
They were known as the Wet Bandits.
It's nonsensical. This has been addressed. It's been addressed. The burglary happened after she was missing. 2 days after she was missing. There's no fucking way she stumbled and an 8-month pregnant woman is going to go confront two burglars? Are you retarded?
Yeah, because technically she almost outnumbers them then.
Look, I get this.
Two of her.
I get this. She's a white woman, and they often think they're bigger and badder than they are. But this is 2002, and she was 8 months pregnant. She'd already twice called her doctor at this point to complain of shortness of breath from walking. But yeah, she's going to go stand up for the neighborhood watch.
You know, like you do. They have a whole thing of like pregnant vigilantes that go out with like golf clubs and rolled up newspapers and be like,
yes,
you knock it off. Okay, if that were a comedy movie, I'd watch it. But that's not the point.
She didn't pick up the phone. No. She went and confronted them. Do you know where the nonsense about her confronting came from? This is amazing. It comes from somebody who worked at, I want to say it was a DA's office, who heard on a telephone call that a prisoner made that he had heard from somebody else that they talked to somebody who robbed a house and murdered a woman on the 24th.
Oh, so this is a bunch of nonsense by some prisoner who's trying to get, like, either brag to one of his friends or whatever, or he's trying to get something.
Oh, it gets even better than that, Jack. There's no evidence of this phone call. This phone call that this prisoner made where he told the story of hearing the story of hearing the story, that phone call itself doesn't seem to exist.
Oh, there's a shocker. Real quick, thank you, Alan, for the generous donation. You guys are great together. Oh, thanks, Alan. We try really hard to put on an entertaining show for everyone.
Indeed,
and,
thank you.
And we hang out a lot, so.
And thank you, Alan. It says, keep up the great work. We will do our best. We try.
Yeah, I mean, we're barely producing anything here.
Devil Fruit Zero says, haven't you heard of the pregnant badass trope? No, I'd miss that. But yeah, that's where that evidence come from. The hearsay of hearsay of hearsay of hearsay. At least if he had the tape of the guy supposedly saying this, that would give some credence to it. At least then he could go, yeah, I didn't make that up. But at this point, it's literally just, yeah, I heard a guy who said he heard a guy who heard a guy who heard a guy, and I have no evidence of any of it.
I've just named the movie that this is going to be. It's called Detective Unborn and Mommy.
Yes.
See, the baby's the genius detective who transmits his thoughts telepathetically to his mother, who has to, it'd be like Psych, but without the sad gimmick.
All right, the next piece of evidence, Jack, is
I like how we're glossing over this stupid, ludicrous, totally billion-dollar movie idea.
I feel like this movie's already been made. Didn't they do a TV movie on this?
On Lacey Peterson?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about an actual pregnant lady detective whose baby is the one solving crimes while in utero.
I mean, I'd probably watch that. Did you
I
see
know, right?
Did you watch that pitch meeting I tagged you in?
No, I haven't had time.
Okay, I don't know if you want to before you see the movie, because pitch meeting it tends to ruin movies. You know, it spoils.
Yeah,
but watching it, there's no way you would not love this movie, dude.
Oh,
it's a horror movie about a haunted pool.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for it because I looked that up, but I haven't had time to watch the pitch meeting.
The pitch meeting on this one
That's
is
the one I'm thinking of. It's like Silent Water or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. The pitch meeting on this one is funny as fuck because the premise is asinine. And he keeps pointing out things that would just end the story immediately. If you just had an ounce of common sense. Anyway, let's get back to Lacey here. Lacey's missing Croton. Is that how you say that? Croton, I would guess. Watch. Let's talk about her missing watch for a minute. Her missing watch is based on the notion of what Scott Peterson told us Lacey was wearing when she went missing. She was wearing a white shirt, black pants, and a watch that her grandmother had left her. Now, a couple of weeks after she disappears, that watch or a watch very much like it turns up at a pawn shop where it was pawned for $20. It was pawned by a homeless lady who claimed that she had been abducted and raped by what turns out to be her relatives, where as they were raping her, they casually mentioned murdering somebody on Christmas Eve.
She's related to Scott Peterson,
right? Let me throw this out there. Let's say you're planning to murder somebody, Jack, and you want to get a little bit of an alibi, and you have a piece of their jewelry. Would it be a good idea to take that piece of jewelry, I don't know, and as you're driving one day, throw it at a homeless camp, knowing that it will probably end up at a pawn shop?
Well, I mean, that's usually how you get rid of things and try and create alibis. It's like if you want to ditch a car, you take it to the hood and leave the keys in it, and if somebody will steal it.
Yeah. Mighty Balzac, thank you. The cop in Fargo was preggers. That's true, but the baby didn't help her solve the crime.
Yeah, the baby didn't have telepathic powers and crime-solving ability. It's like Sherlock baby gestating. It's Sherlock fetus. That's his name.
Viking Buddha says, sorry, Scott, I have reasonable doubt about your reasonable doubt.
Right?
True. So the watch thing is irrelevant. It really is. Because that is such an fuck. I would have thought to do something like that.
Yeah, anybody that's seen a detective movie could have. I mean, you're gonna pick up some countermeasures from watching episodes of Forensic Files at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, just something simple like that. And if anybody kills their wife and uses this after listening to this, you're a bad person. Don't kill your wife.
Yeah, don't kill your wife, especially your pregnant wife.
Definitely not your pregnant wife. All right, a van fire in the airport district on the 25th.
Oh my God! 3 days later.
No, it's the next day because remember, 24th is when she.
Oh, Christmas Eve. That's right.
Yeah.
I keep thinking the 22nd for some reason.
The thing about the van fire is this is miles away from the home, and the only reason it's relevant is because some people mentioned a van at different points of their bullshit testimonies.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. The eyewitness testimonies that say that Lacey was alive after Scott leaves the house, and we do have a timeline of when he left and everything, saying that they are, what's the word here? Questionable is being kind. Consider this. So I just told you a minute ago, Jack, that Scott tells everybody Lacey was wearing a white shirt, brown or black pants, and her watch when she disappears, right?
Uh-huh.
Everybody who claims that they saw her saw a pregnant lady walking her dog because she was supposedly going out to walk the dog, wearing white shirt and black pants.
So you're telling me a pregnant, dark-haired lady walking a dog was sighted?
No, I'm telling you, they all made it up because when
Oh,
he's found, you know what color her pants were?
white,
Brown, a light
brown.
brown. They were tan.
Oh,
So all of these people who saw the lady walking her dog after the dog was clearly put away. We'll get to the dog in a second. All of them come from the basis of Scott Peterson telling everybody what she was wearing and the news blasting out that that's what she's wearing. And oddly enough, that's what everybody saw.
it's almost like there's attention seekers out there that want to look like a hero.
So let's talk about the dog for a minute. We know when Scott left his house and when Lacey was no longer around because of a neighbor. So Scott leaves his house at 10. Originally said he left at 9:30, Jack.
Uh-huh.
But the dumbass checked his phone in his car in his driveway as he was leaving, which pings off of a cell tower at 10:08. And we know this is in a big enough city that he drives to his workplace, right? That's 3 odd miles away. And on the way there, he pings again. So we know the time frame there. He leaves his house at 10:08. There's no question about it. Everybody agrees at this point. That's when he left. Now, a neighbor is getting ready to go to the store and sees the Petersons' dog running around with its leash on. Figuring the dog just got away, I don't know why you wouldn't at that point, like knock on the door or anything and or call like this dog has a leash on it. But anyway, she takes it and puts the dog in the Petersons' backyard and then goes to the store. This was at 10:18, 10 minutes after Scott leaves. You with me so far?
Yeah.
We know this. We know this because she did literally go to the store right after this. And at the time this all comes out, she still has the receipt. The receipt is stamped at 10:34, which if you backtrack and everything, the latest she could have put that dog away was at 10:18. So you have a whole bunch of people who come out telling you, hey, I saw Lacey at 9:30 walking the dog. And then you have people who saw Lacey as late as 10:50 walking that dog. There's a reason Mark Garagos didn't call any of these people, not a single one, not a single person who supposedly saw Lacey walking this dog went on the stand for the defense. You know why?
Because they're all full of shit. They're not reliable.
It's a crime to put a witness on the stand knowing they're going to lie.
That too.
And Mark Garagos in 2015, in a statement to the California Supreme Court, laid out why he didn't call these people. And the reason is none of their timelines matched up.
What?
All of the evidence that exonerates this guy is nonsense. They're also seeking documents from interviews with several witnesses. Paula Mitchell. Your parents named you Paula Mitchell.
They really liked hair care products.
I guess. The director of the LA Innocence Project said she found deficiencies while reviewing the discovery of Scott Peterson's case and sent a letter to the Stanislaus, I don't know how you say that, County District Attorney Jeff somebody, seeking informal production of numerous specific items of post-conviction discovery. The letter includes private identifying information concerning citizens and possible suspects.
Oh my God, suspects.
Mitchell said during her investigation, she came across numerous witnesses who have expressed hesitation or outright unwillingness to provide information due to the high-profile nature of the case. 23. Maybe if you told me this going back, in 2002, But now they wouldn't. It's been forever. Yeah, this man murdered his wife, and these people are trying to get him off because I wish I knew, Jack. I'm all for getting innocent people out of jail, but this dude killed his wife and unborn son.
He absolutely did.
There, if you have questions about this, just go look up the actual evidence. Don't go to a Scott Peterson is innocent place. Don't do that because they're going to lie to you over and over and over again.
And they're weird.
Scott Peterson lied to the police repeatedly.
Yeah. Yep. The timeline doesn't make sense when you look at the evidence if you go with his timeline.
Scott Peterson refuses to be with the family as they're, asking for Lacey to come home or somebody give information about where Lacey might be. And the press starts being like, why won't this motherfucker talk in public? Well, then he goes on with Diane Sawyer to give an interview, and we see why. Because as he's discussing his wife and child missing, he's smirking throughout. This little shithead is smirking when his wife and unborn child are missing.
Yeah, and he was out trying to get tail, using his missing wife as like a thing to hit on women with. The dude was a creeper. And oh my God, I felt so bad for the one chick he was banging because she didn't know he was that guy.
Yeah.
And she was all disgusted when she figured it out.
She is one of the reasons she started recording the conversations with him.
Yeah.
It's how we know about the nonsense with because that's not just hearsay, guys. There's actual recorded conversations where she asked him, how come you told me this would be your first Christmas without your wife? And he's like, well, because there's different ways to go missing. Her name was Amber Fry, or is Amber Fry. I think she's still alive.
Wow.
She found out about this, got disgusted, and started working with the police because this motherfucker murdered his wife. Yeah, this guy's a piece of shit. And look, Innocence Project, I support what you try to do when you get it right. But this is just wrong. Why are you trying to exonerate this shitbag? If there was evidence, Jack, I would be on their side. I'd be like, look, here's the stuff that contradicts it. But their best contradicting evidence is eyewitnesses who could not possibly have seen the woman. Couldn't possibly have seen her.
Yeah.
The latest of the people who say they saw her said they saw her at 10:45 while they were taking a smoke break at work. Now, oddly enough, all of the people who supposedly saw her, Jack, would be in a circle that goes from her house to a park and back to her house. Oddly enough, just like with what she was wearing, it was announced all over the media that she had planned to take her dog for a walk at that park.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there was some pregnant woman that was walking her dog, and all these people saw her.
Look, memory is, everybody wants to think they just have a great memory. Most people don't. Most eyewitness testimony is easily debunked if you get specific. Even if they're right about what they saw, right? Like it was that guy right there. Yeah, what was he wearing? He was a gold shirt.
He was wearing a sexy negligee. Wait, that was something else.
The human mind fills in blanks. It just does. Monk talking about memory. I have a decent memory. It's why my short-term memory going to shit really pisses me off. I am horrible as an eyewitness, though, Jack. I have a good memory for auditory stuff. But if you say, hey, what was that guy wearing? I'd be like, I think he had clothes on, maybe.
He looked like a man.
What color was his hair? Not clear.
It looked like hair.
Yeah, I am horrible, especially if I've only seen you once, chances are I will not remember what you look like. And I've been that way my whole life. It takes me 2 or 3 times of seeing somebody for my brain to lock in on what they actually look like.
You're all just amorphous blobs to Monkey.
Yeah. The faces all just run together until you're part of my routine. I don't know why my mind works that way. But yeah, all of the sightings of her are just nonsense. And it is amazing how they all line up literally with the story Scott Peterson tells, because that's what was repeated. And this happens in a lot of police cases, guys, where tons of tips come in. And oddly enough, Jack, the tips in this case, originally there was a $250,000 reward for information bringing Lacey back safely. It was after that was bumped up to 500,000 that all of these tips start pouring in.
Yeah, it's amazing how rewards work.
Yeah,
I remember all sorts of things when you flash money in front of my face, unless you want me to forget them.
there are a ton of people who just sit around waiting to call tip lines for the attention.
Yeah. Usually people claiming they're psychic.
And most of the time it turns out to be nonsense and just wastes police time.
Yeah, they call it the crackpot hotline for a reason.
Yeah. If you watch stuff about like cold cases, typically the tips that help solve cases come in months or years later.
And they're usually from some like disgruntled friend or lover of the guy that did it. Or like a cellie who's mad at him for, like having a massive poop on the shared toilet.
Yep.
Stinking up the cell. Yeah.
It is rarely when you see those kind of things that like a tip came in the day of.
Yeah, that's why Crime Stopper rewards are anonymous, because it's one of your friends ratting you out.
Yes.
For like $2,000 so they could get an Xbox.
I do highly recommend Matt's video on this. Let me pull that up. I said I'd throw it into here. It's a good video. I like how Matt does his videos too, because the first one I ever remember watching of his, I forget who it was about. I can pull that up in a minute too. But it's this case where it seems like the guy's guilty as shit, right? He absolutely did it. And the first half of this video is just laying out all the evidence of what a shitbag this guy is. And then the second half goes through and actually debunks all of it. And I like that, because I get bored with true crime stuff, because it's so much of it is just dry,
Yeah.
And I like how he does it, because he sets it up and you never know where it's going. That was the one of Daniel Holtzclaw. That's the first one I ever watched of his. It's the fourth video he ever put on his channel. It's a really, really good video. But yeah, if you want to know more about the Peterson case, go check that out. It's a really good video. Plus, you get to see that smarmy little fucker grinning at oh shit, I forgot her name. The chick doing the interview, doing his little weird smug grin, talking about his missing wife.
Yeah, he's got that like Zach Morris grin where he's like kind of half of his face is curled up in a little like, oh, aren't I adorable?
Yes. Ugh. It was so creepy.
Yeah.
Especially now, knowing that he was probably smiling because he's thinking that she's dead. Disgusting piece of shit. Anyway, that's all I had to say on this. I just cannot fathom people that want to simp for this piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
No, it could have been space aliens. Yeah, it could have been. It wasn't. Could have been.
Could have been some Puerto Rican guy if his name was Scott Peterson and he wasn't Puerto Rican.
Yeah. If he was married to Lacey Peterson and killed her.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. Let's get to some politicking. Because they're having the impeachment inquiry into Mayorkas, right?
Yeah.
And they had a lady up there, Mrs. Dunn, I believe is her name, whose daughter died in a fentanyl overdose. And Dan Goldman, right?
I saw this.
Who's a Democrat piece of shit. He's become one of he's basically their Jim Jordan, except for he's retarded.
Yeah, well.
They let him be the man, right? Well, he was questioning this lady, and there's a part of it that we just have to watch. I don't know if we're going to watch the whole thing. Probably not. I just want to get to one specific point here.
I recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman, for 5 minutes questioning.
The douche from New York's about to speak.
Thank you very much, Mr.
One of many in Congress.
Chairman, and I thank our witnesses for being here today.
Look at this lady's face.
Yeah, she lost her kid. How's she supposed to look? Yeah.
She is one. I really don't like the idea of pulling people up like this.
Yeah.
The one thing I do agree with Goldman here is that she's not really an expert witness here. She's a witness of what's been going on, and you can just look at the statistics for this. This is to personalize it. This is, and that's fine, but it feels mean to her.
Well, a lot of these guys are unnecessarily
Oh my
cruel because they can be.
Some bitch. This just reminded me. I'm so sorry. At the beginning of the stream, Snubber, thank you so much. Who said, "Who is Scott Peterson? Why does he look like David Hogg's older brother?" I still think he looks like. I think he looks like Ben Affleck. And thank you, Ebony, who says, "I mean, people simp for Ted Bundy and Charles Manson. I'm not shocked some people believe this guy's innocent." Yeah, well, in fairness, like in the Bundy case, I don't know anybody who doesn't believe he did it. They're just like, he's so dreamy anyway.
I bet he's so cute when he's strangling people.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I do think it's kind of cruel to these people to bring him up here. I get why they would want to speak, to have their story told. It does seem cruel. But anyway.
Ms. Nobles and Ms. Dunn, I just want to express my sincere condolences. I was a federal prosecutor for 10 years who charged people for gang-related and drug trafficking crimes. Unfortunately, this is not the first time I've had to interact with families of victims, and my heart goes out to you. And
that sounds sincere as shit.
Almost, yeah.
Did you get speaking advice from Al Gore? Fuck. I want to tell you how sincere I am in my condolences. Yeah, I'm sincere. I used to be a prosecutor. I'm sincere. I hate this dickhead. I just want to throw that out there.
I want to apologize in some ways to you that you are here really to share your story, but you're being used as a fact witness for an impeachment investigation.
All right, we should talk about that for a minute. A fact witness for the impeachment of Mayorkas, who is being charged with dereliction of duty for not securing the southern border where the fentanyl's coming from.
Yep.
So it's not like they're like, yeah, we're going to impeach Mayorkas because he banged a secretary, and they brought up this lady who lost her daughter to fentanyl. It is related, dickhead. He's making it sound like you have any reason to be here.
And obviously, given what your experience has been, you don't.
Her dead daughter. You can say it.
Have the background to understand what a high crime misdemeanor is and how it relates to this. And
you're too dumb with your dead kid.
Yeah, he's just like rambling. Like, is he embarrassed to be saying this? Because it sounds a little condescending to say this to this woman.
It's very condescending to say this. You can't understand high crime or misdemeanor. You could get her a dictionary, homie.
Yeah. Oh shit. Real quick. Thank you, Keldrick. Stop rambling, you bloviating waste of oxygen. This is unnecessary. Go suck a dick. Yeah.
Oh,
I agree completely.
What? This thing irritated me, but I am building to a specific part. We're almost there. He's about to ask his question,
and so I hope that you're handling that okay.
Hope you're handling your dead kid okay. I'm sincere.
God. And how much shit did Alex Jones get for the whole Sandy Hook thing? Like, this is kind of kicking this lady while she's down.
One of the things that the chairman said at the beginning of his opening statement was that he wishes that Democrats would turn our sympathy into action. And quite ironically said, thoughts and prayers are not enough. At first, I thought we were at.
What does this have to do with this woman?
Why is that ironic? I wish you guys would do more than sympathy. Thoughts and prayers aren't enough. Well, he's about to get to it, Jack. He's got a point. You ready?
No.
At a gun violence hearing where we were talking about the repeated thoughts and prayers of the 2 mass shootings that happen every day. But I do want to just.
Yep, that's why it's ironic, because they were at a mass shooting hearing. Yep. And he's saying this to a woman who's there to talk about the fact that her kid died because of fentanyl pouring across our border unimpeded. But at least she wasn't shot in a school shooting. That's where the death really matters. Fucking asshole.
Just go through some of the actions, as the chairman pointed out, turn sympathy into action. Because I assume, Ms. Dunn, you would agree, would you not, that it would help to stop the fentanyl trade and fentanyl trafficking from coming into this country if we had more law enforcement officers at the border and more resources and technology to stop the fentanyl from coming in?
All right. Yeah, we just need more money to make the problem go away. You agree, right? You agree.
Well, did he just say she's not an expert in any of this, and now he's asking her about border security?
Yeah, she's not smart enough to figure out high crime and misdemeanor, but she's definitely able to understand the intricacies of border protection. But her answer is fucking amazing. Her answer is amazing.
Is it like, go fuck yourself? Because that'd be awesome.
Kind of.
Do you agree with that?
I disagree with that, because Border Patrol is now being used to make sandwiches and to screen people and let them into our country.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that fucking awesome? She's like, fuck you. So all we need is more Border Patrol, right? No, because what they're doing, and that's part of the issue with Mayorkas. Do we need more border security? I'm fine with more border security, Jack. But the problem is you're just going to do the same thing. Having more people cutting the razor wire at the Texas border isn't a good thing.
What?
But Dickie Dan has this to say.
Well, so
I disagree with you.
So you're saying that you're saying that you're upset because
she broke him.
Yeah, I don't think he expected that.
She's smarter than you thought, eh, Dan?
the Border Patrol is not doing is making sandwiches, I think you said. So you don't.
I think you said it was 2 seconds ago.
Well, that was like 2 seconds ago, Monkey. In cat ears, that was 5 days ago.
So you're saying that you're upset because the Border Patrol is not doing is making sandwiches, I think you said. So you don't think it would be helpful to have more Border Patrol officers who are charged with stopping the fentanyl trade?
Bruh, she literally just told you that that's not what they're charged with. They're charged with making sandwiches. His argument, his comeback is literally, but shouldn't we just have more people making sandwiches? That'll stop it. See, the only reason they're bringing that fentanyl across, Jack, is because they lack sandwiches.
They lack bread for their sandwiches.
Oh, they need to go rob in New York, I guess.
Yeah, they're trading the fentanyl for bread, clearly. Because they keep saying, you got any of that bread, man? I speak jive. I know.
They aren't charged with doing that, you absolute buffoon. Yeah. She just mentioned why she doesn't think adding more to it is because they're not doing their job. And he's like, but if we hired more people, certainly the job will get done, right? Not when that's not what they're doing. If you hire 10,000 security guards, Jack, to protect, I don't know, a Jay-Z concert, whatever, and you tell them the whole time you're there, stand in the closet with your eyes shut, it's no better than having none of them there. Because they're not there to actually do the security, you fucking doofus.
I don't think you're an expert in border security, monkey.
His comeback is, yeah, but what if we had more people making sandwiches?
Maybe they're really good sandwiches.
I'm actually with Biden on this. It's just kind of funny to me. I think it was Biden, or was it in Congress? I forget. Somebody's trying to get rid of glue traps for rats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are kind of cruel, but
They're very cruel.
Biden's also trying to regulate the how much water goes into the dishwasher and your washing machine, so in your gas stoves.
They've done tests on this. The easiest way and the most effective way to kill rats is a half-filled bucket of water.
Yeah. Or an electric trap that tases them till they die.
But Ted Lieu, it's Ted Lieu the one who came up with this idea? Oh yeah, it was Ted Lieu. Yeah. He wants to get rid of glue traps, which again, I'm on the side because it is cruel. You might find it more gruesome to have a trap that kills them quickly, but it is the nicer thing to do. Because when you stick them on a glue trap, they get their face and everything, and they have to starve to death if you don't kill them.
Yeah.
There have been instances where they'll like chew off their own fucking legs. It's gruesome. It's very much like with the human thing where we're trying to find the most humane way to kill people, and literally the most humane way to kill somebody is to cut off their head. You die pretty fast, but it's gruesome, Jack.
Yeah, it'll happen.
That's not humane. It is humane. It's the most humane way to do it. I know we're gonna electrocute them.
They'll get a buzz out of that.
Now, look, most of the people we're doing this to, I'm okay with them having pain during the process. But if you're looking for the easiest way, the nicest way, it's often the most gruesome way. So Ted gets one right, but God, I hate that smarmy little shithead. Ted, what about different methods of abortion? Are there any of those you're against? I'm just curious. Are any of those inhumane? Oh God, another fucking retard telling me that we have to pay attention to color, Jack. The New England Patriots hired a new coach.
Oh yeah.
And he's a black man.
Oh.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me get the video queued. I have it queued. I just didn't have it ready quite yet.
Aha! You were ill prepared. You didn't do your homework.
All right.
I do see color because I believe if you don't see color, you can't see race.
I mean, in that context, I suppose. But that's not what we mean by see color. See color, not seeing color means there wouldn't be racism because I hate you because you're an asshole, not because you're Chinese, right?
Yeah.
And the whole notion, though, like, yeah, you got to see the color.
And whatever happens, black, white, disabled person. I've always, even someone with disabilities, I always, for the most part, people are like, when they're young, they kind of make the spot hot. Younger people know what that means. But
they make the spot hot. Old people, unless you're doing it to be funny, stop using young people language. You sound dumb.
What I would say is, no, I want you to be able to go up to those people and really understand those people. So,
sir, as a black man, when I walk up to you, what do you want me to think about all black men? What should I know about all black men just by looking at the color of their skin? Yeah. It's an uncomfortable question because they're repeating, Klan talking points and trying to dress it up nice. We're going to be racist, but we're going to do it to be kind to you. No, back up. Wait. What do you mean you're going to be racist benevolently? The fuck is that? Excuse me. Who you are as a person, color shouldn't matter. Okay, of course, Ebony. That's the right way to be. But it's amazing how many people are like, we want to end racism. Did you see all the darkies over there? I'm sorry, they don't use that terminology. They haven't used that since the 60s. Do you see all those people of color over there? It's amazing how racist the anti-racists are. That's all I'm getting at. All right, Jack. This one, it's kind of fucked up, if I'm being honest.
What? On this show? I'm horrified.
So this old dude, this is a Dear Abby column that caught my eye yesterday. Dear Abby, I want to keep my money, but lose my wife. Damn it, I hate how the post. Get that shit off there. Thank you. I want to keep my money, but lose my wife. Now you might be thinking, oh, Scott Peterson. No. I can throw this in there so you guys can, check up on it and trust that Monkey's not lying to you. But the gist of the thing is he married a woman. He's an older man. He married a woman, and she's got kids, grandkids even, and she was lonely, so she moved closer to her daughter to be near her granddaughter. And he said, I'm too old to do that shit. I'm not traveling. I just want to end this marriage, but I don't want her to be able to get like half my pension. We've only been married for 2 years. That's a rough spot to be in, Jack. Now, Dear Abby here, who isn't this like Dear Abby's like granddaughter or some shit?
Yeah, because Dear Abby died like 30 years ago.
Yeah. Their advice is the right advice. Go see a lawyer in your state. Excuse me, this is in Missouri. I said go see a divorce attorney in your state because I can't really tell you what to do here. But it is fucked up, honestly, that this guy, he's only been married for 2 years and he has to worry that the pension he worked his entire life for might go away by half just because he said I do.
Yep. Well, that's why you don't get married these days. There's absolutely no incentive for it. Just cohabitate. At best, if you're unlucky, you'll live in a common law state and you'll get screwed out of some stuff, but not nearly as much as you would if you were married.
Peter says, I like the inverse of the more traditional, or it's like the inverse of the more traditional. I want to lose my husband, but keep his money. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. You're married for a year, 2, 3, even. In some cases, Jack, not even married, depending on where you're living.
Yeah.
Just live together for a while. I get half of his stuff.
That's why when you get in a serious relationship, you got to look at your state and local laws and then find a nice place that suits you that will accommodate your separation.
Yeah. The whole legal system when it comes to marriage, and especially when it comes to men, is just fucking screwy.
Oh, man, you are going to get so screwed.
Now, oh, man, they took that video down. Oh.
No.
I wonder if he got in trouble. It was a great video of this guy. I'm just going to describe it in what you would consider like traditional Muslim garb in the Middle East. He's wearing the long white dress thing that they wear and the turban and all that. And it says my $1,500 outfit. And then it slowly goes through the outfit. The long dress thing's like $50. And the turban is like $30. And then they sneak in this bomb kit that's $1,380. And then the sandals. It was a great video. It was funny, and people should learn to laugh more.
Laughter was disallowed a few years ago.
That is 100% true, unfortunately. Now this is regarding some stuff we talked about the other day.
About how awesome we are.
Well, no, we are, but this is slightly different.
Oh, my bad.
This is, why are you doing this to me? Thank you. Chicago area Tesla charging stations lined with dead cars and freezing cold. A bunch of dead robots out here.
What's that one phrase we used to say every now and then? Told you so?
These cars, this one guy, he'd been charging for 3 hours and it hadn't charged his car at all.
Yeah, because it's fucking cold out. You know what the cold does to batteries? Drains them.
EVs are not worth the cash in winter. If you live in Chicago, why the fuck would you have an EV? Do you know how cold it is in Chicago, Jack?
Yes, I do.
They literally call it the Windy City.
Yeah.
You can get your ass beat over a Subway sandwich when it's minus 40 with the wind chill.
Well, I mean, that's what you get for being in MAGA country.
The story tells us that Tesla didn't answer. Yeah, Tesla didn't have anything to say about this. What are they going to say? Yeah, batteries don't work good in the cold.
Yeah, like, how long have you had technology that you didn't know that?
I want to watch the video from this. Is that the one at the top?
Yeah,
I think so. Yes.
I don't know.
All right. Because there's parts of it that are just amazing to me. Hang on. There's an ad at the beginning of this, so I want to watch through it so we can get to the actual story, Jack, because everywhere makes me watch ads.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
I get it. They got to pay bills, but damn.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. Give us money. Why is this ad so long?
Because
Seriously.
it can be. Because they always are when you don't want them to be.
Internet advertisers. I like make it quick. That's what you guys have to learn.
Yeah. You got to be pithy. 6 seconds or less. That's the ideal.
Thank you, Keldrick. It's a good thing you're happily married, Monk. It'd be awful if your wife divorced you and took half of your $2. My wife would take money if she divorced me.
To be fair, it wouldn't be $2 because Susan gets her cut or PayPal gets a cut.
That's true, yeah.
So you're getting less than that. She's probably taking half that $2, but you're not getting $2. You're not getting $1, buddy.
Why is that open? Okay, so here's how Fox News reported this story. We should probably have the volume on.
Is also causing some big-time headaches for Chicago area owners of electric vehicles.
Yes, I never thought we'd say this, but it's true. As Dane Placco reports.
All right, this is one of those women. Sweetie, you're a little bit bigger. You should not be wearing bright pink, especially with your darker complexion. It just makes you look fatter than you are.
Yeah. Black people can pull off pink really well. Fat black people cannot.
No.
You look like a trampoline.
It just and a lot of her weight, I mean, you can see her arms. She's got decent sized arms there, but a lot of it is just she has a big old titties. And you're just bringing attention to it. It makes your head look small.
Kind of does.
I try to help these women out on TV because see how he's just wearing a gray suit? I talked about this the other day, Jack. Men get away with this shit because they throw them on TV and all they do is throw on a suit. It's really easy. Maybe I'll make fun of their ugly ties. But the women all try to dress up in different ways. Just pick something simple.
Yeah.
And what's with the shoulder pad things going on there?
Those just kind of making some kind of comeback, and I hate it.
These look like a football player without their jersey on, though.
Yeah.
The old ones used to look like the jersey was at least on top with the shoulder pads. This looks like you forgot the jersey. It's ugly.
If you look at it from the right angle, it looks like Strawberry Shortcake's hat.
We're not here to criticize this. I'm sure she's a very nice woman, but seriously, I see this in our local news, the women, the stuff they wear. Stop it. Just be simple. It's easy. The jacket shouldn't be buttoned when you're seated. Some people do this with their top button on their coat. You'll see the second button's unbuttoned. I don't like it myself. I unbutton a jacket if I sit down. It's just more comfortable. And this actually does make it look like the jacket's too small for him.
Yeah.
Because it pulls when you sit.
I think it's a signal to his wife that no, he's not banging her. Like, I'm not cheating on you with my coworker. See, my buttons are all buttoned.
Actually, she looks like she's the married one, not him. He's not sporting a ring.
Oh, well, maybe he's a weirdo or pervert or something. I don't know. I'm just judging these people now. I've drifted.
Yeah, we were actually here for the story they're telling, and we're actually
whatever. That's done now. We're judging these people.
We're not even here for the story they're telling. They're just, as most news anchors do, they're announcing the story so somebody else can tell it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good gig if you can get it.
It really is. They're like, this story that Bob's going to tell us about as he's freezing his ass off outside is a pretty interesting story. Here, look.
Right. Real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. I'd just like to remind people that the only reason that electric vehicles are anywhere near affordable as they are is because they're heavily subsidized by the government.
Yep.
Replacing the batteries are so expensive because they aren't subsidized. Well, yeah, I mean, they're not going to subsidize everything. That shit's made in China.
Reports the low temperatures have caused some headaches for owners looking to charge their cars.
I do like her voice, though. I have to say that.
She does have good cadence on this, very news reportery.
I don't like a high-pitched voice, but hers is deep but still feminine. I really like her voice.
Yo, if these two had sex, she's going to be the one telling him what to do. It's not going to be the other way around. He's not going to be the dominant in bed.
No, he's a wuss. Look at him.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have shoulder pads.
And that girl know what she like. Look at that face. Oh,
yeah,
man.
She's like, I like that white boy booty.
If I wasn't married, I'd go find her.
Yeah, she's kind of fat.
She's cute. I like her. Anyway.
She's got a big forehead.
You think everybody has a forehead? A woman's hair could start at her brow, and you'd be like, that bitch got a big forehead.
Hey, sometimes it's just got big foreheads. It's not my fault. There seems to be a weird genetic mutation going on where we're producing people that look like Egghead.
I think you're thinking of Charlie Kirk. Anyway, so...
Oh, no, that's Tiny Face. Egghead was Vincent Price in the Batman TV show.
That's true. Can I just point out that they sent the old guy out to the cold parking lot?
Of course
That's
they did.
up.
It's funny. He pissed off somebody. Ebony said, Jack, what the hell? I don't know, Ebony. You should know what to expect by now.
Electric cars may be the way of the future, but it's clear there are some problems when it comes to charging them in Chicago's deep freeze.
Oh, we got a bunch of dead robots out here.
They use this in all of the headlines I saw about this. Dead robots out here. This little nerd guy saying it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
This guy's internet people. Look at him. He's wearing this like racing jacket, and he's talking about dead robots. He's out here fucking with these people. That's all there is to it.
Probably.
Robots. Dead Teslas packed the parking lot at this Tesla.
And these are specifically Teslas, and he's going to say so why in a second. But this is not just Teslas that have this problem. It's battery operated. Jack, you live in cold weather.
I do.
You ever gone outside to your gas-powered car expecting it to turn on, but the battery died because it was cold as fuck out?
Sadly, yes. And it's a giant pain in the fucking dick.
Yep.
Supercharging station in Oak Brook, a scene mirrored in other supercharging stations around the Chicago area.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's a disaster. Seriously.
See, she's got a normal forehead. She's way prettier than the news anchor lady.
This guy still has his. It's not a gas cap anymore. What is it? His electric cap. His
charging portal.
He's got his child safety cover off of his electrical outlet.
Some kid's gonna stick his finger in that later.
Are they targeting Tesla for some reason? No, it was just an easy spot to get to.
Temperatures falling into the negative double digits. These charging ports have stopped charging, leaving many Tesla owners stranded here in long lines since Sunday.
Now, I want to point that out because they said the charging stations aren't charging. No, the batteries aren't charging. There's nothing about the cold weather that would make that cord not charge anymore.
Yeah, it's just a plug, basically. I mean,
the way they said it is wrong. The cars won't take the charge.
Nothing.
I want to get to the end of this because there's something that happens at the end that just made me laugh my ass off. So we got to watch a couple of these. I like this guy's coat. It looks like Fozzie Bear.
Yeah. He pulls it off really well too.
He does. I want a coat like that. And I'm not joking, guys. I really do like his coat. It looks like Fozzie Bear.
Nice.
I bet that's warm as shit.
I would hope so. Well, he's only got that and a hoodie on, so he doesn't look super cold there. He just looks like a little nervous, maybe. Although the tree behind him makes him look like he's wearing those Christmas antlers.
It does.
Juice is still on 0%, and this is like 3 hours this morning being out here, after being out here 8 hours yesterday.
Has it been?
Did you catch that?
Yeah, he was out there 8 hours yesterday and 3 hours today.
11 hours charging, and he can't get a charge at all.
I imagine that dude is super pissed.
Jim says the batteries need a minimum amount of charge to accept a recharge. They also need a minimum warm up of the battery. The battery itself has to be a certain warmth. They kind of mention it in the story. I don't remember if they mention it here. I like this guy. He looks so happy.
He's like, I'm on the news.
No, not at all.
It just isn't working
At all.
Wait,
It's just frozen.
go back a few seconds.
The big guy?
Yeah. I want to
All right,
see that guy
Being out here
again.
8 hours yesterday.
Has it been charging?
Right there. That's him. The Boulder Baron.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's the guy who killed Lacey Peterson.
No. That's Jarbo.
That's Jarbo.
That's why their batteries can't charge. They were sabotaged.
Sabotage.
No, not at all.
It just isn't working
At all. It's just frozen, and so I'm now getting it towed to the Tesla service center because that's my only option at this point.
They have to get their cars towed to a place that's warm to get the charge.
At least that guy's got a good sense of humor about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be furious. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get this stupid thing towed.
Oh, wait till the Asian guy. You'll like him.
Adding to their frustration, they say, is that they're getting no help when they call Tesla for assistance.
No response from Tesla. We have been suffering since yesterday afternoon.
These are.
What do you want him to tell you? Hey, dummy, you shouldn't have bought an electric car living in Chicago.
Right?
Pull that shit in Texas.
Unusually cold temperatures, but do you find this acceptable?
No, not at all. Not really. I think it's less on the actual vehicle and more on the infrastructure.
How is this the infrastructure's fault? You don't know the batteries don't work well in the cold? Like, have you ever owned electronics and been in winter?
It's because of the way they put it even earlier in the segment where like the charging stations won't charge. No. The battery won't. It's not that batteries don't work well in the cold. It's that damn charging station. It's the infrastructure. We just need more infrastructure. No. This was predictable. In fact, it's been predicted over and over and over. You know, if we end up having an exceptionally cold winter, because we've had a couple of mild ones in a row here, Jack. If we end up with an exceptionally cold winter, there's going to be people who just can't drive because they own these stupid things.
Yeah, well, the feds are mandating a certain percentage of this stuff. But Spittlebuggy is saying the charging stations need a minimum temperature to function fully also. Cold restricts output through the capacitor system.
Oh, fair enough. So
it's both. They're going to blame the infrastructure, though. We just need more of these. No, we don't. We don't need any of this shit. Okay? Until they figure out how to make batteries survive the winter, this is stupid. This is just going to get people killed because they're going to get stranded somewhere.
Tesla has not responded to our emails for comment, but an automobile expert we talked to said that the owners of all EVs should hit the battery precondition button on their car before attempting to charge it in extremely cold weather. In Oak Brook.
I wonder if he told any of the people he interviewed that.
Probably not.
Be like, hey, there's a button you have to push to try to help this in cold weather. It doesn't mean it will work, Jack, but you're supposed to this precondition. I don't know what the fuck it means. But it's funny to me that he like that pissed off Asian man. You think he like, hey, did you know there's a button you're supposed to push first?
I've been here for hour.
They don't say nothing.
USP says that Tesla won't respond because it straight up says what the operating temperature is in the manual.
Well, remember the Chinese guy, because the news guy says Tesla didn't respond, but the Chinese guys that they won't say anything. Well, what there's nothing left for him to say. Like, yeah, it's cold. Your car's not going to work.
I believe they could have their spokesperson come out dressed like Nelson and have him go, ha ha, because you're not getting your money back.
Here, let me help you out. There seems to be lots of stores around there. Go out there and buy a really, 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 really long extension cord and a space heater and put it near your car for a few days. You'll be fine. You like electricity. It'll work. I laughed so hard because we had just been talking about that and I got off the air and that was the first story I saw. And it just made me laugh my ass off, which, by the way, my daughter reached out to me and told me I did not show her how to jump a car. So next time we're together, I'm gonna take her outside and we'll pop the hood of her van and I'll show her a YouTube video.
All right, figure it out. I'll be inside.
But yeah, so I'm not against electric vehicles. I'm really not. If you can make them work, that's great. I still think, and somebody mentioned this in the comments to that story when I retweeted it, that they really like their hybrid vehicle. I know a guy who had a hybrid when I worked with him at Walmart, and he loved it. When it was really cold like that, he switched it over to gas, get it all working, and then the electronic part would work. But you have to be able to heat it up before you can get the other part to work. And if you're going to live in a cold climate, a hybrid is probably a better way to go than a straight up electric vehicle.
Yeah. A hybrid's like the bisexual of cars.
True. They work for everybody. Dragon Mage, thank you, says, and when the EV warms up, the range will be ruined. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't make sense in cold climates. Anywhere probably north of the Mason-Dixon, you should not own an EV.
Yeah.
And probably several places south of it as well, man.
Yeah, you got to find that kind of happy medium.
Yep. I'm all for saving the planet, Jack. The planet's not in trouble, but if we can have less pollution, great. That's awesome. But you can't force this shit on people when it's not going to work. That one dude charged his car 11 hours and had no charge. 11 hours, Jack.
Well, clearly he's doing something wrong. It can't possibly be that, it's the middle of winter in Chicago and shit's not designed for that.
Pour some hot cocoa on the charging port. Yeah. I was reading some stuff about the Peterson case before we started the show. And I read if you watch Matt's video, the one that I linked, he talks about this one person he got a lot of the information from. And I went over their blog and was reading parts of it. And she's responding to this one podcast that was made for it to defend that piece of shit. And in this podcast, apparently one of the women on the show says that it makes sense that Scott Peterson went out fishing that day instead of golfing. All right. Here's why. Because if you go out fishing, you can cuddle up with a cup of hot chocolate on the boat.
What?
I'm not making that up. That it makes more sense to go golfing or fishing when it's cold out onto the San Francisco Bay because, as you're fishing, you got all that extra time to curl up with a hot chocolate, which apparently you're making.
Yeah, on the water? Okay, I get maybe.
You totally can't have hot chocolate when you're playing golf. Absolutely not.
No, it's not as romantic.
Shit is retarded.
I
Anyhow,
thought you were going to be like, yeah, the sturgeon aren't, biting out at the golf course. They're all playing golf. Just dumb. Some of these people that do true crime stuff are complete lunatics.
well, apparently the girls that did the podcast mentioned that they were only paid for an hour of a podcast, and they never say who paid them or why. It was their first podcast. I don't know if they've done more since, but they were specifically paid to do it for an hour. That's kind of fishy.
Did Scott Peterson pay him?
Probably his family, honestly.
Wow.
All kidding aside, it was probably his sister.
Swiss Miss paid him.
Yes. I've never heard of anybody taking a boat out to go sturgeon fishing so that they could curl up with some hot chocolate.
Well, that's what happened to Natalie Wood. See, she was just enjoying a nice glass of hot cocoa when a sturgeon jumped up and pulled her into the ocean.
Oh, fuck. Anyhow.
And Christopher Walken saw it and he was like, oh, my God.
My God. Oh, Natalie Wood. All right. What else do I have? I don't really have time to go over that one.
Not with that attitude. We got all the time you want.
Well, we finally saw Wecky, whatever his name is, from Argentina. We got to see his speech that he gave to the World Economic Forum.
Yes.
And he just gets up there and started off really well. And we did we actually watch any of the clip or no? Because he was going to go the next day, so we didn't watch any of the clips. But it's like 23 minutes, and I don't want to look. He calls the commies shitbags, basically, because they are.
Yeah. He calls out the WEF quite a bit.
And for those of you who'd like to see it, I don't have the YouTube one, but you can watch it on Elon's timeline here. And for you folks on YouTube, there you go. You can go watch the whole thing. I recommend watching it because it's a good talk that he gave. I think this man is trying to commit suicide by commie, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he's trying to get put up against a wall. Might be a fetish.
This is some. I'm glad he's out there doing it. I don't even think you could get away with some of the shit he says as an American. They would call you a Nazi.
He would be tarnished as a bigot constantly. But hey, good on him. He's got a lot of balls standing up and doing this.
And he doesn't have to do this shit. He's a rich man. He could have retired and moved to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I had forgotten about this.
What?
Our dear friend Hasan Piker.
Oh, fuck's sake.
So there's somebody who's known as Hot Yemeni TikTok Pirate.
Do I want to know?
Probably not. But
I'll be anyway, aren't you?
Hang on, I want to put this on the screen. This is the thumbnail from Hasan's video the other day. Hasan interviews viral Hot Yemeni TikTok pirate. And it says on the thumbnail, he loves One Piece.
One piece of goat ass.
Hasan actually put up some fan art with him and the Yemeni terrorist there.
Did he actually interview a terrorist?
Yes.
Wow. Aiding comfort to the enemy or something?
Hey,
something?
He's only 19 years old and all he wants is Gaza to be free.
By killing Jews?
Hey, look, they're only going after ships that are going to Israel, okay?
Yeah, sure they are. Sure they are.
Forget about what the Houthis have done in Yemen.
Yeah.
It had nothing at all to do with Gaza at all.
They took all those slaves for fighting Israel.
But now they're just a good group of people who just want the violence in Gaza to stop.
Hasan does know that the Yemenis have attacked our ships, right?
Well, yeah, that's why he likes them.
Yeah, but is anybody looking into this? Because he could get in some trouble over this.
Well,
of course, he's pretty stupid, so never mind.
We see that screenshot because somebody's pointing out that the little fucker. Well, I'm guessing Hasan blocked him because of the way that Twitter works. If you go back to Hasan's post, you can't read the retweet that he had there, which usually means he had some issues there. But anyway, this is what the guy says. Sure, he may be a fan of shooting random civilian merchants, child soldiers, slavery, and cursing the Jews, but did you know he also loves anime? To which Hasan responds, love when libs present themselves as intellectually superior to conservatives or empathetic, and then just go on a racist rant about how a 19-year-old Arab dude from Yemen is a fan of child soldiers and slavery when he never said anything of the sort. How dare I humanize him?
Hasan's kind of retarded.
Hasan is very retarded. The guy's an IQ point away from forgetting to breathe. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Because, okay, you're now bragging about humanizing a terrorist because the guy didn't say he likes child soldiers and slavery. He didn't say it, so he supports the Houthis. He's a member of their movement. He locked down his account, but people grabbed pictures before he did where he's walking around with an AK. Jesus. Like terrorists do. But hey, man, he likes anime. That makes him a cool person to hang out with. I don't know. I don't know why anybody listens to this retard. He got very mad because people were talking about this and pointing out how fucked up it is that he was out there supporting this shithead and had him on the show. And it was funny watching his meltdown because I think he thought that this was going to go well. Like, oh my God. He kills people, but I watched that show too. That makes him pretty cool. Yeah. Way to go, dumbass. But people listen to him for their political views.
I guess.
The last Willie Mack video we talked about, Jack, was about those two TikTokers, Neon, and I forget the other idiot's name. And what shitbags they are.
Yeah.
They go around causing problems, but only because they have a shit ton of security. They carry big security guards with them at all times.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new player in the field.
Oh.
Willie had a new video that came out yesterday. It's about this female influencer who is so very bad. She decided that she was going to drive around in Miami doing the truck bed hot tub thing. Have you seen when people do that shit?
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. Oh, real quickly. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Hasan is an IQ point away from Cenk being all for pleasuring him for his pleasure.
True.
Ew.
True.
Probably accurate, but thank you, Evolved. Gross.
This chick who's actually kind of cute. She decides she's going to do this thing, and her fat friend, who I'm guessing is gay, they put together their little hot tub thing, and they drive all around, and nobody will get into it with them. So they get the bright idea that they're going to go to PetSmart and buy fish to put in there.
Well, it's not the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, but it's also not the smartest.
It would kill the fish instantly.
Yeah.
And some people, knowing where she was and stuff, called PetSmart and told them, do not sell fish to this. She's just going to kill them. And so they don't sell them to her, and she gets all bent out of shape about it. She is a retard, man. You got to watch the video to see just how bad she is. But it gave me a little bit of hope because she doesn't have a big audience. she's got a tiny, tiny little audience, and most of the audience is just telling her what a fucking retard she is. But then I look at the guys who she's emulating, and it bothers me that it's like, okay, if you have balls and you're a retard, we'll support you. At least we're not supporting the taco havers with the retardation, but can we just act that same way towards the guys? Like, you're retarded.
Excuse me, they're called Taco Americans.
Taco Americans.
Or bonus Americans.
Oh, God. It's amazing to me what passes for entertainment. I do just want to show this because this was from the New York Post, and an article about it. One of these idiots who's decided to get their legs lengthened.
Oh my God. I heard about this. Fucking disturbing.
29-year-old who underwent the world's most painful operation to become 2 inches taller is in so much pain he can't sleep. And if you read the article, he wakes up every 2 hours. I fucking feel for you that you got a entirely cosmetic thing done because
Did we talk about this on the last show?
No, you and I talked about it after the show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's kind of the same show, so
yeah, I feel bad that you can't sleep because you had an operation you didn't need to have. But what really blew my mind about this is he got 2 inches taller and he went from 5'8" to 6 foot.
that's not how math works. Was his name Bobby Brady?
Jefferson Casio.
Yeah, in English it translates to Bobby Brady.
This is an expensive operation that these idiots have been getting, and it's a very painful operation, but they're still doing it because they're vain as fuck. Here, let me show you the guy who had this done, Jack. See this picture here? Tell me you're really, really sensitive about being short without telling me you're sensitive about being short.
Right. How much you want to bet that some of that is implants too?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
He's
Well,
probably got
actually,
calf implants.
looking at it, that looks more like roids than implants.
Some human growth hormone.
Yep. It probably was exactly human growth hormone. I can't take you any more serious because you're 2 to 4 inches taller now when you're kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And your pecker didn't get any bigger. We can see signs that you're worried about that too. Anyhow. Oh man, I think that's most of what I wanted to laugh about tonight. What did you bring?
I only brought a couple things. There was a lot going on, but there were only a few things I thought that were worth talking about.
This title has me intrigued.
I know.
Connecticut man allegedly digs up neighbor's yard, says they're pirates. Is there a big pirate problem in Connecticut?
You would think so. And I would like to subscribe to his newsletter to find out more.
Okay. Connecticut resident is facing multiple charges following complaints from neighbors that he excavated their yard and accused them of being pirates. That's awesome. Ledyard police responded to a call of a concerned citizen on Saturday at around 10:15 a.m. He reported that her neighbor, Utterstat, I don't know how you say that. How do you say it? His name's? We'll call him Mark because they say I have his first name up here. Mark was had used a rock rake to dig up her front yard and was refusing to leave.
He's got to find their gold. Give me your gold, you pirate.
Upon arriving at the scene, officers discovered that Mark had walked to the caller's property under the belief that he owned the entire neighborhood and accused the caller and her family being pirates. According to a police statement, caller's husband confronted Mark about being on his property and digging up their yard. Mark began yelling and screaming obscenities directed at the caller's husband and young children. It's always a good idea to scream profanities at children. Mark then swung his rock rake in the direction of the caller's husband in a threatening manner. I'd have beat your old ass. And I'm crippled. During questioning, Mark claimed that he was digging up the yard because he believed they were attempting to install a water line. If they were installing a water line, you wouldn't have had to dig up the yard.
Well, they were doing it covertly, probably from underneath.
Oh, did they go New York Jew on them and have tunnels?
Probably. I mean, that seems to flow with the logic here. I mean, he thinks they're committing a boarding action by living on his neighborhood that he owns.
Did you see that guy, the video that was going around of the dude, this is in England, who knocked on his neighbor's door? This is all on Ring camera. And he's complaining to his neighbor that the neighbor had put a Wi-Fi password on the neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Yes, son of a bitch. Let me steal your Wi-Fi.
No, it wasn't stealing, because the signal went outside of his house, and once it goes outside of your house, it's the public's.
I mean, the public will use it, but it's technically still your Wi-Fi.
What's up, Eddie? And the guy who owns the Wi-Fi is like, dude, I pay for this. And you're like, yeah, you pay for it. And we were using it until you put this. He can't get it through his head that you shouldn't be using this guy's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's the point where you should be like, am I the asshole?
Yeah.
Because I'm complaining about stealing somebody else's Wi-Fi.
Oh, it is an amazing video to watch. And we're not watching it because that's literally all that just happened. But it's funny as shit. This guy is like, he's not mad. You know, he's not like screaming or anything because he's British and, well, they're British. But he's trying to have this logical conversation to explain to the guy who pays for it that he should unlock it because everybody else deserves to be able to use it. And the guy goes, yeah, I put a password on it because I contacted my internet company and they told me that it sounds like somebody's probably using my bandwidth. And since I'd done that, I'm not having a problem anymore. And the guy says this, well, all you have to do is tell me that you're going to be doing something and I can stop for a little while.
I'll just download a bunch of movies off your IP address.
Like, for fuck's sake, dude. And for the record, this guy was in his 60s at least. So it's not like this is some young entitled shithead.
Some old entitled shithead.
It's an old entitled shithead. How dare you keep me from stealing your stuff? That would be like saying, Jack, hey, yeah, I know you had that hose in your front yard, but that's outside of your house. So I took it. It's mine now.
There are a lot of people that think that way, though. Well, you had it and I didn't. They have bandwidth communism.
Bandwidth communism. I laughed so hard at that video because the guy is so convinced that there's nothing wrong with what he's saying. Oh, well, that's not scary at all. All right, here we go. COVID-19 strain kills 100% in humanized mice. This is made in a Chinese lab, Jack. Shocker.
Yeah, it's almost like they can do stuff like that. Why you'd want to? I don't know. But hey, people are dumb.
We have to create these deadly things so that we can find ways to kill these things that don't exist until we make them. That is
we fix the problem if we don't create it.
That is the notion of gain of function research.
Yeah, typical government.
We have to stop this thing that doesn't exist by making it.
Well, they learned from climate change.
In a Wuhan-esque study, Chinese scientists are experimenting with a mutant COVID-19 strain that is 100% lethal to humanized mice. The deadly virus known as GXP2V attacked the brain of mice that... Wow. Jack, you ever play the game Pandemic?
Yep.
It's literally them doing that. Like, COVID's not deadly enough as it attacks the blood and the heart. What we need to do is make it attack the brain too.
Yeah, look, it's just killing the elderly and the fatties. We got to get everyone, apparently.
Jesus Christ. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop there, but why are you the gain of function? There's nothing that suggests that this virus was going to mutate into something that attacked the brain.
That's why I brought this one along, because I was like, what the fuck are you idiots doing? How is this going to backfire on us?
Attack the brain of mice that were engineered to reflect genetic makeup of or similar to people, according to a study shared last week out of Beijing. This underscores a spillover risk of GXPV2, P2V. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. I haven't been diagnosed, but I'm 100% on that, Jack.
Right.
Into humans and provide a unique model for understanding the pathogen mechanisms of COVID-2 related viruses, the author wrote. Homie, you guys made it. If you hadn't made it, there would be no reason to understand the unique, what was it? Model for understanding pathogen. The virus is a mutated version of GX 2017, a coronavirus cousin that was reportedly discovered in Malaysia, pangolins, in 2017, 3 years before the pandemic. Okay, I'm all for looking at what pangolins are carrying, because apparently they like giving us SARS.
Yeah.
But even SARS wasn't as bad as they said SARS was. So please stop. Stop making it worse. The virus infected the lungs, bones, eyes, tracheas, and brains of the dead mice. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Well, the Chinese are at it again, guys. I wonder what kind of mask will help us this time. I'm going with a Jason mask.
It'll be whatever kind of mask China sells. So, good luck.
There was a U.S. swimmer who just got a bunch of shit because the idiot's still running around wearing a mask. Guys, they never helped you. Just saying. They might slow it down a little bit. They might reduce a little bit of it, but the particles can still get in.
What? Yeah, lucky for us, this won't leak. Exactly, Viking.
Of course not. Of course not.
I mean, China has the greatest safety standards.
Stop making viruses that are more deadly than the ones that exist.
Yeah, the ones that exist are bad enough.
Why not go out there and find ways to fix the ones that already exist? That way you don't have to worry about the mutation.
Yeah.
And contrary to what we were told throughout COVID, the changing of viruses doesn't happen as quickly. It's not like the movie Outbreak, where like, oh, suddenly everybody just has this whole new one because it mutates. It doesn't. It's not like that. They do mutate, but typically the mutation actually makes it easier for us to deal with.
Yeah, because if the disease kills the host, it will die out too. So it has to mutate.
It's literally a form of natural selection, because the virus that kills its host dies with its host. The virus that doesn't kill its host gets to keep going. Anyhow, no, it all gets worse. That's why we had to manufacture this disease. Jack, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we didn't have a worldwide COVID-2 pandemic until they made COVID-2.
Look, your hate facts have no place here.
Huh.
We're also not going to talk about that. They're still cleaning up that lab out in California. So,
Pyrus says you'd think they'd learn after 2020. Oh, they did.
Yeah, they learned exactly how susceptible you are to propaganda, and you'll fall in line with the scary, scary virus. So make it more lethal.
They took the lessons they wanted from it. Security guard found with a severed hand in his pocket is charged with murdering prostitute found decapitated in a creek in Colorado.
Got one hand in my pocket, and the other one is burying a hoe.
It's almost like that as you read that, the further along you go, the more it makes sense.
Yeah, well, I guess.
No, not that it's okay to have done, but like, oh, fuck, he had a hand. Oh, he decapitated a bitch. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, you could have just bought a lucky rabbit's foot like a normal person.
Solomon Martinez, 26, has been charged with first-degree murder in connection to a decapitated female body. You could have just said decapitated female.
Yeah, but she might have been ethereal.
I guess.
So, yeah.
When he was arrested on January 10th at his job as a security guard, police discovered a severed hand in his pocket.
Is that a murdered victim's hand in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Martinez's roommate, Joshua Mazurko, whatever, claimed he asked him for help disposing of a body. You know, Jack, I've always wondered about that. I have some good friends. I don't know that I have any friends that I'd be like, dude, could you help me get rid of a body? You know what I mean?
It has to be a very good friend that you absolutely implicitly trust, not just some rando person that you've known for like a few weeks or something.
My very best friend, I do know that there is a way that if he asked me or I asked him to conceal a body, we'd have each other's backs, and that's if somebody hurt our daughters.
Yeah,
I know this because we've discussed it, and I mean that sincerely. If he came to me and went, this person hurt my daughter and I killed them. Can you help me find a place to get rid of it? I'm like, dude, I'll do it for you. So you ain't got your hands anywhere in it. You just keep a look at it. You go get an alibi. I'll take care of this shit. But other than that, right? How you just casually come up to somebody and be like, yeah, I decapitated a hooker. Could you help me get rid of that?
Yeah, I mean, what are you, Ben Affleck? Yeah, if somebody's like, I killed a whore, first of all, are prostitutes really people? And second of all, man, what a pain in the dick. You know how hard it is to get rid of a body?
Don't trust don't trust people with this look if they're not Louis Gossett Jr., okay?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, apparently you can't trust your roommate if you kill a whore. He's gonna narc you out. But yeah, don't kill prostitutes. How about that? Don't dismember them and keep souvenir hands.
26-year-old reportedly said, I had a hand in my jacket for 2 days.
Ew. It's gonna get pretty ripe.
When they arrested him, police noted there was a red-colored smear on his car and his hands were cut up. Oh, he was new.
Yeah. Wes, punchline for the joke is the second hour is free.
He allegedly told police the cuts were from his dog and later said they were from picking up dog poop in rocks.
That is the worst excuse I've ever heard.
What kind of jagged-ass rocks is your dog taking a shit on?
Are they near a boulder field?
I was about to say, somebody should have told this guy about mundane Matt. He'd have known the rock thing just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a terrible story.
He originally told police someone borrowed his car and they must have killed a woman. They snuck the hand into my coat. It's been here for 2 days. I have no fucking idea how it got here.
I've just been refusing to hold on to it because I didn't want to hold hands right now. Do you think he was giving himself hand jobs with it?
Oh, God, probably.
You're welcome for that visual.
He walked up to me. This is the roommate. He walked up to me and he'd asked me, you want to absolve $1,000 off your debt? I need a 10-foot hole. He looks at me and goes, I'm not playing around. Dude, I help you bury a body. You got to take more than 1,000 off.
Yeah, I would say we're even for that, and you owe me food.
And why a 10-foot hole?
Commitment.
I mean, honestly, if you go down 4 feet, you're probably good. 6 is the standard.
Yeah.
10 feet?
That's a lot of digging, dude. Look, I'm not a young man anymore, but even in my 20s, that'd have been a lot of work.
Court documents said later in the day, Martinez told Mazurko his remarks were a joke and asked if he thought it was funny.
And the guy standing with a shovel and gloves going, really? Just a prank, bro.
The roommate says, I was terrified. I was beyond terrified. Like, I can't even put into words how physically scared I was. I'd have left.
Yeah. I could buy new stuff.
The roommate said he didn't help, but records said he watched him wash blood off his hands at a car wash. Yeah, you come to me and tell me you murdered somebody, I'm narking on you. I really am. That's a bridge too far from my friendship for most people. Maybe my wife I'd do it for. Depending on who she killed, right?
Yeah. I think the reason matters too.
Yeah. He killed a prostitute. It's not like he did it out of some kind of defending somebody else's honor or anything. He didn't even do it because, she cut in front of him in line. Maybe she used teeth,
Yeah, maybe she was just, bad lay. Maybe it was during sex.
Maybe, Jack, you know what? I think I figured it out. He asked her to help him bury a body.
That's why he needed a 10-foot hole. There were 2 bodies now.
She said no, so she had to go because she was a witness now. And you can't trust a whore. You can trust your roommate that owes you a bunch of money. You can't trust a whore.
No, you can't. They're not notorious for keeping their mouths shut. Sometimes they will. There's a certain horror code, but loose lips sink ships.
I would for family. Again, it would depend on the reason. I mean, there's a reason somebody could give me and be like, all right, yeah, sure. But if it's, I killed a prostitute. One, prostitutes have enough horrible shit going on in their lives. They're prostitutes, for fuck's sake. The fact that they got to deal with serial killers is just mean. That's how you know God doesn't like prostitutes.
Yeah, there's a consequence for hoeing.
So it's kind of fucked up that they got to deal with fat guys and stupid guys and sell their hoo-ha to guys who can't deal with women properly, and they get murdered. I'm shocked the police cared that a prostitute got killed.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm shocked that they weren't like, we'll get to Mr. Martinez in a few months.
Yeah, the chef nailed it. Dig a hole for $1,000 or turn the guy in who murdered the whore, and you get out of the debt completely because he's going to prison.
That's true. For life. That motherfucker's gone. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, man. If somebody owes you money, why would you give them dirt on you like that?
I don't know.
Because the smart thing to do would be to actually go dig the hole, unless you can get away real quick, right? Like he's standing there, like, you better do this. So you dig the hole, you bury the whore, and then you go tell the police that's where he made me bury her. And he's gone forever. You don't owe him a dime anymore.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if Mr. Martinez sues Mr. Mercurzo or whatever from jail for the money he's owed? That snitch got me thrown in jail so he didn't have to pay. Who keeps a hand in their pocket? It's when I saw the story, Jack, that he was arrested having the hand, but I didn't read the story. I assumed he kept it like a souvenir at his house or something. This motherfucker had it in his pocket.
Yeah, he took the Alanis Morissette song a little too personally.
At that point, it's just this bony, flimsy piece of meat.
No, it's a stranger. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
he was jerking off with that thing.
I feel like that'd be harder to do.
I don't know. Or he kept it in case somebody was like, "Can you give me a hand with this?"
Yeah. So yeah, could all use an extra hand sometime. That's true. That is true. That's gross. Stop killing whores, guys. All right. Shit.
It's the monkey on his high horse.
Yeah, that's one of my most principled stands. Don't kill whores.
You Puritan.
I'm up here on the high road. Christ. I just don't get. My wife watches that show Snapped and all those murder porn things.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many of those people ask somebody else to help them and how many people do.
Yeah, it's usually some dumbass that they're fucking.
Yeah, oh, almost always, yeah.
Because men are pretty dumb. If you're putting out, they'll do a lot to keep that going.
And let me help the gentleman out there. If you kill somebody and you ask a woman to help you dispose of it or anything, and she says yes, you should probably kill her too, because she's going to kill you.
She's absolutely going to either kill you or turn you in for the reward.
Women,
I know.
Yeah, you're going to owe her for the rest of your life, and then you're stuck with her.
Yeah, she's got so much dirt on you, your life is ruined. And she will go tattle to the cops too.
Oh yeah.
So you have to take that threat very seriously.
Women are far more likely to hell no and get all indignant about murdering somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's a bad thing.
Yeah. If you did it for her, like you killed her, like her husband, so you could be together, she's totally selling you out at some point. She's going to level up.
That's the funny part of the other side of the spectrum. If the woman did the killing or get somebody to do the killing for her, if you watch these things, every time when they're finally busted, she's like, it was his thinking. He did it.
Yeah,
it was all him.
Yeah. Unless there's concrete proof that she's the mastermind, she's getting off the hook completely. They'll give her ass immunity because she's the helpless girl. And you're the one that did all the murdering. So you're going away.
I do like in most of the cases they cover on there, those women still go to prison. They
never for very long.
Not for as long as the guys in most cases, but I like when the prosecutors go after them real hard and be like, no, bitch, you're still going for life. Because we need more of that.
Like 10 years or something most of the time, if anything. And they'll be out in 3 with good behavior and a little bit of pole smoking.
And the other thing, if you are the guy who's been brought in by this chick who wants to kill somebody, here's the other thing that seems to be almost universal. She's going to stop fucking you when it's done and go fuck somebody she wants to fuck.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that these women, they break up with those guys pretty soon after? Not all the time. I guess universal is the wrong word. Like 99% of the time.
Yeah, they're leveling up. And then a couple years later, when she wants something out of you and you don't give it to her, she's running to the cops, be like, he murdered somebody.
Yep. There have even been cases where that was planned by the woman from the beginning. Where it's not even that they got caught, so she sold the guy out. That part of her plan was actually to sell the guy out at the beginning.
Yeah.
I had an affair with this guy and he lost his mind and killed my husband.
Or they'll have their new boyfriend kill that one.
Yeah. Don't help people kill people. It's just, it never works out like you think it will.
Shocking, isn't it?
It's not like on TV where you get away with it. And then his wife is shot in the head and you're famous for being a dirty whore who killed somebody or tried to kill somebody when you were a teenager.
Yeah, exactly. Evolved. You can't trust women. It's just the way they're built.
I was more going for you can't trust murderers.
Oh, yeah. Well, that too.
But otherwise, yeah. Don't trust anybody. Trust is stupid.
Trust is how you get framed for things.
That's right. Trust is how you end up in prison while she's in the Bahamas.
Yeah, no, if she says she wants you to murder someone, just say you have to think about it, get a recording of her telling you to do that, and take it to the cops and sell her out first.
And with that, we are going to wrap this one up, Jack. Remember, guys, don't murder, and if you do murder, don't keep the hand. That's what you should take away from this show. And Scott Peterson's a murderous fuck and is right where he belongs. Actually, I mean, if there was any justice in the world, he'd have been electrocuted in a chair that didn't work real well. But
yeah.
Aside from that, he's in prison where he belongs, and fuck that guy. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so very much for the donations. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing it, especially today, Jack, where apparently I'm limited again.
Oopsie.
Because judging things based on just a couple of word connections is a wrong way to do things. Maybe context is important.
What?
Jack,
It's crazy.
I know, right? Anything you want to chill out?
I'll drop some links to some cool videos. As always, thank you so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. And we appreciate you coming out night after night to watch us and listen to the insane nonsense we talk about. We covered a lot today, Monkey. We talked about a murderer. Then we talked about a guy that thought his neighbors were pirates. We were all over the place today. It was just an awesome show.
I enjoyed it. I really did. And I also like going. We don't do true crime. We don't do true crime around here very often. But when we get a case that's so blatant, sometimes it's fun to a woman and her baby died. But sometimes it's entertaining to. That's the wrong word too. You know what?
Sometimes it's interesting to discuss.
There you go. Thank you. Sometimes it can be interesting. So anyway, guys, take care of yourselves. We love you, Jack. A pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Stay warm out there. If you're in Chicago, get a real fucking car. Love y'all. See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Your little wind-up toy doesn't work in the cold. You're a fucking retard, and I hope you freeze in the snow. No, that's wrong. That's mean.
Oh, it kind of was.
I mean, I didn't say freeze to death.
It was implied.
Look, man, if they get some frostbite and lose some digits, they can wear mittens better. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Bye, guys.